profession. Due diligence is defined as the work accountants, lawyers, human resources, risk departments, senior executives, and other key personnel of the buyer complete prior to agreeing to purchase a company. Take the analogy of a newly married couple who wish to buy their first house. We will call them the Wilsons. The Wilsons typically look through the real estate listings, talk to a realtor, visit several properties, and narrow the search down to one house. At this point, they will do a more detailed review of the property, looking for areas that may be damaged and in need of repair or replacement, or areas that the seller should correct before he sells the house. The Wilsons will likely hire outside experts, such as an inspector to examine the house, an appraiser to verify the home's market value, a lawyer to help negotiate terms, and so forth. In essence, the Wilsons will want to be more than comfortable with their home before they commit money to purchase it. Similarly, in successful acquisitions, a corporate or financial buyer of a company will analyze the financial position of the target, meet with key management, review the operations, update the company's financial projections, and investigate legal liabilities, all to determine if the company is worth the price being paid. Deal teams will hire consultants, lawyers, and accountants to help them with this process. Once complete, the buyer will sign a contract to purchase the company at a specified price over a certain time period. In larger M&A deals, there is normally a time period between actual agreement to purchase, signing, and the completion of the transaction, closing. This time is used to satisfy contingencies such as government approval for the deal to happen, shareholder consents, employee union agreements, or agreements from other parties who need to consent to the transaction. Once all of these have been satisfied, the buyer and seller will move toward final closing of the transaction. It can take months to close a deal after contracts have been signed. This time between signing and closing is one of the most risky parts of the entire M&A process. Take the example of the Wilsons, who now own the perfect home as a result of completing very good due diligence, and decide they need a car to go with it. They decide to buy a used car to save money and enter into a contract to purchase the car on Monday, signing. During the week, they will withdraw the cash, arrange for financing and insurance, and then pay for and take possession of the car on Friday, closing. The Wilsons will absolutely want the car to be in the same condition on Friday that it was on Monday when they agreed to purchase it. But what if the owner decided to drive across the country from Tuesday to Thursday? What if the car was in an accident on Wednesday? Clearly, the Wilsons will want some protection that the car will be in the same condition on Friday as it was when they agreed to purchase it on Monday, if not to be able to walk away from the purchase. Buyers in the M&A world face the same challenges. The target continues to function between signing and closing, and is subject to the external risks of the business, the economy, and other acts beyond its control. Therefore, a buyer is at risk as they have agreed to purchase the company at signing, but the existing management team continues to run the company on a daily basis, hopefully well for the buyer. A legal clause referred to as a material adverse change, MAC, has been crafted by attorneys to protect the buyer during this period between signing and closing. A MAC allows the buyer to walk away from the deal if the target does not continue to run the company effectively, or the firm incurs material changes that make the company less valuable. Attorneys have made the MAC clause much more complicated over the years. For example, years ago, MAC clauses allowed buyers to walk away from transactions for the occurrence of natural disasters, acts of war, or terrorism. Unfortunately, due to the turmoil in the world since then, such events are no longer infrequent, and these are no longer legitimate reasons for a buyer to walk away from a deal. But the concept remains the same. The buyer can back out of the deal if certain other bad things happen between signing and closing. The combination of due diligence and a MAC provision sounds perfect. In theory, the buyer gets to spend as much time as they want reviewing the corporate records, meeting with key employees, understanding the legal, environmental, and risk issues, and gaining an overall comfort with the target operations before agreeing to the purchase.